Ooh. Well, here where I am, I think that because I'm a woman, I ain't gonna say all the time. Most of the time, people want to open doors for me. If they see me carrying something heavy, most of the time they want to try to carry it for me. I will say, oh, I white privilege is a thing. It has never one time occurred to. I'm bad. I go somewhere, I buy something, unless it's got like something that I might have to return. I'll tell them to throw the receipt away. Just throw it away. I don't need it. Throw it away. It never occurred to me to start keeping my receipts when I walk out of places until I married a black man. Never. It never crossed my mind to start holding on to receipts until I was in and out of businesses and things with my husband, and it's different for him.
Yeah, I had to mute myself a little bit for my onomatopoeia because once again, this is the Makings of Pow, y'all. It is that probably gonna be the clip. I'm leaving this in here. That probably gonna be the clip right there, the intro.
The joy of children laughing around you. These are the makings of you. It is true, the makings of you.
What's happening, good people? It is your host, Mr. D. Let me bring that back. It is your host, Drake, of B Drake with Everythang Culture. You know, we live in that Mr. D 713 in the past. It's going to take me some time to get used to it. But all in all being said, thank y'all for joining us this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're listening to us. And we're back with another Makings of You. And we are here with Pow. And we're going to be over the Makings of Pow. So I've met Pow maybe a week ago. This is really our first time meeting, I would say. You know, TikTok and social media is just an amazing thing, how it brings people together. But, you know, how you say things and you say what your feelings and how, you know, it just runs with it and how quickly it blows up. But I really did admire her response and way things go by, you know, how she felt. But either way, before we get into it, we want to get to know a little bit more about Pow before she joins us in a future episode. So, Pow, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I am superb. You know, I see me a little sweating a little bit. I just got finished washing the car, working out. So, y'all bear with me. My body runs a little different. It's still going, but other than that, I am great.
Good.
Okay. How's your day been?
It was fairly chill. My ball games got rained out, so that bought me about 4 hours of free time. We like free time.
We love free time.
Yeah.
Trust me, more time is so important. Older we become, I've learned. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. But Pow, once again, this is the Makings of You. So we're gonna go through a line of questions.
Okay.
These are your responses. There's no wrong answer because it's your episode, So
okay.
Nobody can tell the world about Pow better than Pow. Okay.
Got it.
So Pow, how would you define yourself?
I always joke and I tell people that I'm not from this planet because sometimes I feel like my thought process is so different from everybody else's. That might sound cliche or generic, but
not at all.
I find myself feeling on the outside of things a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely one of a kind.
Okay. What cultures do you represent?
Oh, God. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on social media, like TikTok, Facebook, stuff like that, where they say that white people don't have any culture because they say white people just pull things from other cultures. And I think that probably maybe was the first time I ever really even thought about what my culture is. I never even really thought about it. I even ordered one of those the the DNA test, the genealogy
23andMe.
test. I haven't sent it off yet, because I'm nervous about it, but I don't really know what culture I would represent. I don't know what classification I would fall under. I got a very diverse family. Like, we have Hispanic people in our family. My mother's mother is Native American. My stepfather, since I was a small child, is African American. Like, we got all type of people in my family. So I think I'm just kind of like a mix of things. Just have picked up a little bit from all the people that was around me, maybe. I don't know.
And I love it because that's your culture. So
Is
and
it?
we're going to go in depth. You got to listen to the show.
Okay.
And once again, this is Everything Culture. So we got to ask that question. So
Gotcha.
where are you from?
I am from this big old town called Somerville, Alabama.
Somerville,
I'm kidding.
Alabama.
It's small. It's so small. There's nothing there. We have a caution light and a four-way stop. That's it.
Okay. So I'm from a small town myself, a small city, we can say now. We got 2 malls. We didn't step it up. So I'm like, I know.
Okay.
Little old Tyler, East Texas, holla at us. So, you're from the South. All right.
Very much.
And, this question always disturbs me because that's my culture as well. But I ask it for the show. Do you mind sharing your age with us?
I am 37. I'll be 38 in February.
All right. There's a no where we from. So that's our morals. I try to break that. But
gotcha.
So what is your sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius, okay. January?
February.
Okay.
Yeah.
February. Thank you. All right. How would you define your childhood and upbringing?
I'm the oldest of all my siblings, and I grew up primarily in my dad's parents' house, and they are very conservative Christian people. My grandpa was not only a deacon, but he was like the music minister at the church. My grandmother did all the little Sunday school stuff, and very traditional Christian household. They were pretty strict as far as yes ma'am, no ma'am. I had chores to do. We had farm animals, like they had horses, they had pigs at one time, had big farm. My granddaddy grew everything you could think. He grew his own peanuts, like everything. I had chores. I had stuff that I had to do, and if I didn't do it, I was punished. Phone calls limited. I was not even allowed to talk to boys on the phone until I was 16 years old. Like, no makeup, bedtime, curfew, like all of that. So when I got in high school, I think I started to kind of be exposed to different kind of people. Because we had, I don't know how it is anywhere else. I didn't know K through 12 schools were a thing until I moved out of my hometown, because we had what you call feeder schools. So we had kids from all over the county that fed into the high school. We didn't have a K through 12 school. So when I moved away from my hometown, and I was like, wait a minute, y'all got kindergartners going to school in the same building as the high schoolers? What? Yeah. So when I got in high school, I was exposed to more things that I didn't even know anything about. And I think that's when I made my turning point, and I started to see how very small the world that I grew up in was. Very, very conservative, slow. Yeah.
Like everything you just said is one of the main reasons I started doing this podcast, because I still got people I'm friends with back home, they don't know what the world looks like outside of our town. So just having these conversations like these and sharing, and vice versa. People don't know what it's like growing up in a small town. So try to have people actually share their perspectives is absolutely valuable. So thank you. And you answered quite a few of our questions too. I usually have to line up. So no, that's perfect. Look, I love it. I love it. That's sharing you. That's what we're here for. How many siblings do you have?
I have a sister and a brother with the same parents. I have a half brother on my dad's side, a stepsister on my mom's side, and I have a stepbrother that went to be with the Lord a couple years ago on my mom's side. He overdosed on heroin, and that was something that I had never been exposed to as well until I got out of my hometown. Had no idea, like, the reach of drugs and addictions of all kinds. Didn't have a clue. Not a clue.
Well, you may just line yourself up for another future episode. We will be touching on the culture of that as well. The feeling of that. But thank you. So, where do you consider home?
Man, I told my youngest son this the other day. I don't know. Like, I always feel like home is more of a how you connect to the people around you, more so of a place, if that makes sense. Like,
absolutely,
wherever these kids, my grandbaby, my husband, the people that I care about, wherever they at, that can be home for me, whether it's familiar to me or not. As long as I got the people, my people with me, I'm okay with that. But I don't really consider a place to be home unless it's maybe my grandparents' house. But I mean, even eventually, I know that ain't gonna be their house anymore. They'll go on, and the family might sell it off or whatever. It might be some whole other folks living in that house. So I can't say that that's home. It's just it's a house. Home it's in here.
Speak on it. Love it. Thank you. For the people who are tuning in, you are listening to the Makings of Pow with Everything Culture. Thank y'all for checking in with us. So, Pow, you mentioned you got some kiddos. I know one of them, but how many children do you have? How many?
I have three.
Three. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. You want to share? Teenagers, young adults.
The one that you have seen, she will be 20 in January. My oldest son will be 18 in January, and my youngest son will be 16 in January.
Oh, you about to be an empty nester before you know it.
Well, no.
Well, hey, you may be lining yourself up for another episode, but we don't have to touch on that right now. Trust me. And the work that I've done, and I already know that look and enough backstory. But we're gonna continue.
Right.
Okay. So, Pow, when did you have your first sense of responsibility? I know you mentioned that you had chores coming up, working with those chickens.
Man. Again, sorry. I don't think my mom will be mad because she always says she's proud of me for it. So my parents they started their divorce when I was probably like about 7 years old. And my sister is 3 years younger than me. My brother is 5 years younger than me. So he was 2 when all that started going on. Those were my first responsibilities. Typical oldest daughter stuff. Like, I was changing diapers, making bottles. Like, I knew how to do all that before I started school. I knew how to read before I started school because I was reading instructions on things pertaining to my younger siblings. Wow.
Well, thank you. What was your first job? Like, what was the first job you had to pay taxes?
Tax-paying job. I started working at a Hardee's when I was like 16, but my grandfather's sister had a restaurant my whole life, and my mom had one too for a few years there when I was probably like from 12 to 14, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I always could go and like bust tables, things of that nature. But my first actual on paper job was a Hardee's. Okay. That was, let me not get ahead of you. You go ahead.
No, please. This is your episode. Talk.
That was the first time that I was ever not exposed to racism, because I know, like, the town I grew up in, whole lot of racism, but I don't think that I like recognized what it was until I got my first job. The Hardee's was right on the side of a main interstate down here, and I worked with a couple of the African American kids that I went to school with, and we had this group of like biker guys. I don't know if they were like affiliated any type of way or whatever, but they came in there one day. It was me and my friend that I went to school with. We were working the front counter, and they refused to let her wait on them. And that was the first time I had ever like heard anybody call anybody else the N-word. And I didn't know what it was. It wasn't something that was said in my household that I grew up in, but I knew that they, I was not supposed to be chasing after little black boys. You know, I knew that, but I had never heard that word said before. And my manager had to sit me down and tell me, like, Crystal, that means this. And I remember being so like hurt for her and thinking, how am I 16 years old and did not know that there was a whole word that people said just to make people of color feel that way? Like, how did I not know this? And I remember thinking, man, if I don't get out of that town and educate myself, I'm gonna be lost out here. Like, just lost.
Ooh, you said a mouthful right there. And let me tell you, there's some folks that still say they're learning. I know. We can talk about that for a long time, and that's what we do here on this podcast as well. But this is the Makings of Pow, so we'll get back to you. So, but thank you so much for sharing, because people need to hear this. People need to hear it.
We're going to say I was real naive until I hit that point, and then I started coming out of the naive a little bit.
It's all about growth, all about growth, all about growth. So, what were and what are your beliefs?
As far as it relates to
opening the question, whatever it is.
Oh, wow. First, I fully believe that you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to love yourself, respect yourself, believe and invest, pour into yourself before you can give any of those things to anybody else. I was come up in a religious household, but as I'm older and I'm learning about who controlled printing presses, you feel me? I don't want to get out on a limb there, but I have some questions about that stuff. I do believe there's a higher power, because obviously I'm still here. And I haven't always made the best decisions, and probably should have went to the upper room a few times, but I'm still here. So I know it's somebody looking out for me. But as far as believing every single word that's in that book, or be it like my grandparents, they will, if it's not King James version, it ain't credible. And I'm having, at this point in my life, I'm having trouble buying into that, if that makes sense.
Hey, thank you. I understand, and thank you so much for sharing. Once again, nobody else can share Pow like Pow can share Pow. So if they come and ask you questions, they're like, "Hey, this is me. This is," and I appreciate your transparency here.
Yeah,
the same questions we ask every single person come on the show. So once again, thank you.
Yeah.
So, who has been the biggest influence in your life?
Oh man. I don't think that I could name just one. I have some very core values. The grandparents, I TikTok loves things that my grandpa says. Like, to me, it's the simplest stuff that I say. And they're like, let's put it on a t-shirt. My mom is, she's probably one of the strongest people I know. My grandmother, if been through it was a person, it is my grandmother, man. Like, everything you can think of, she's had to go through and stuff. I try to learn something from everybody I come in contact with, whether it's like a little something or something that stays with me forever. I feel like that's one of the reasons that we're on this planet, and there are so many of us, is so that we can all exchange information with each other. So I don't know if I could narrow it down to one. I've had a lot of good, solid people make good, long-lasting impressions on me, and on the other side of that, I've come in contact with some real trash-ass people that have burned me pretty good. So always a learning process. And
we absolutely love that. Thank you. All right.
Am I failing? I don't know. I feel like I'm failing.
What do you mean you're failing? How
I feel like you're asking me like simple questions, and I'm having trouble giving you like a simple answer.
No, these are not simple questions. These are deep diving. Like, I love it when because once again, this is you. Okay.
Gotcha.
if you was a simple person, you'll give me a simple response, right?
Right. Okay.
All right then. All right. So we here.
Got it.
This is your thing. All right.
Gotcha.
So if you could recommend a book, a movie, and a television series, what would you recommend?
Oh, a book. I think that any woman that has ever had children should read The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, because it is so strange. Like I seen I don't know if it would be a meme. I seen a meme the other day that said, as a daughter, I forgave you, but as a parent, I could never. And I think the dynamic child to parent, and then when the child becomes a parent, when you're seeing it from the other side, I read the book and then I watched the movie, cried like a baby both times, called my mom, and I was like, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for every time that I was like acting like a brat, because I had no idea. So that would be the book. A movie. Probably The Help. That's one of my favorite movies ever. We'll leave it there. We'll just set that down there, because I feel like I'm going to get out there again. And then a TV series. Oh God, I'm so bad.
What do you mean?
I've been watching P-Valley lately, so that's what I want.
I haven't watched one episode.
Or
I know much about Uncle Clifford.
Or Shameless. That's a good TV series that'll keep you like watching it and laughing, and I love Shameless.
I tried watching Shameless, but the work I was doing at the time when Shameless came out, couldn't do it. Not do it. But I hear it's good. But thank you. Okay, we got The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood.
The Yaya Sisterhood. I think the movie's got Ashley Judd in it.
I've seen the movie. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of the movie. But so we got that as a book.
Yes.
The Help as a movie. And either The Pank or P-Valley or Shameless. Or Shameless. I got you. Okay. If you could call 3 people and just have a conversation with them, who would those 3 people be? It could be someone you know personally, some people you never met before. It could be a fictional, non-fictional person. What 3 people would you want to call?
I'm calling Jesus first, because I just know in my mind that Jesus is not with some of the things that people are saying that he's with. I just know that. I just feel like Jesus was a real chill dude, and he was about love and not hate, and I feel like Jesus would have had his whole shoes off walking around out here with all us lowly sinners and stuff, and he would have just been kicking it with us. I would call him first, and I'll be like, dude, you know what they're saying about you, and I need you to come and correct this, because this is not what you told us to do. That would be my first call.
I'd never interrupt, but I'm like, are you ready for him to come? Like,
yes.
Oh, okay.
Like, come on. If that's what it takes, come on, because these people is really wilding out here in your name, and I just know you ain't about that.
Ain't doing. But go ahead. That's one.
What is it? I got 3. I think I would call Dr. King and I would ask him, would you have done, like, if you could have been saved, if somebody could have stepped in and saved your life, would you have wanted that to happen, or would you have wanted this to still go the way that it went, because your passing had such a monumental effect on history and the way things went? I would ask him that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my third call, okay, so my dad's oldest sister, she she was like the cool aunt that never got married and never had any kids of her own. But baby, she was at every ball game, every awards day, everything. Like where my parents or grandparents, they all worked and they couldn't be present for those things. My aunt was there every single time I went through my divorce. She was right beside me. Like, and then when my kids started doing those things, every single thing my kids ever have going on, she was there. And she passed away in 2019 very suddenly. And I think I've had some things like come to a close that had been ongoing for a long time. And I would just want to ask her, like, did I do it right? Because I kept trying to think about what you said to me. Did I do it the way you told me I should do it? Because it's done now and it went the way that I wanted it to, but I would want her approval because she was always the one that was like, no, we're not quitting. You got to get up. Try it again. If it don't work that time, you got to try it again. If it don't work that time, keep doing it until you get it done. So I want to just chop it up with her a little bit and be like, hey, I did what you told me to. Are you proud? You know.
You know you got to give us a name. We say names over here.
Yeah, it's my Aunt Melinda Gay. My granddaughter is actually named after her. She was so influential and such a presence in all of our lives. My daughter named her daughter.
Wow.
Lillian Gay, after my aunt.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. You know, those people who are in our lives make such a difference. And, you know, once again, I can go all down the rabbit, not even the rabbit hole, the reason why I asked that question, but we'll go to the next one.
You almost got me in my feelings. I felt the lump in my throat. I was fixing to, I was going to do it.
Hey, I felt one too. You know, I feel my people. You know? So, the next question is, what has been the most impactful moment in your life?
Up until a few weeks ago, it was probably my children being born. My kid's dad and I had been fighting for custody of these kids for almost a decade, dude. Like just back and forth. And you know, they're almost like, I only got 2 minor kids left, so they're almost grown. And when our granddaughter came and my daughter started having the issues that she's having, you know, I sat down with him and I was like, look, dude, is it important to you to continue to go back and forth with me over these kids that's nearly grown? Or do you not think maybe it's more important for us to be a united front in case we have to step in for our granddaughter? Because if we have to step in for our granddaughter, the same judge that we up here wearing the hell out of is fixing to be like, I know y'all, and no. You know, like, y'all can't get along over the kids you got. I'm not fixing to give y'all another baby to be arguing over, you know. So I had that, I was able to like calm myself down. That's one of the things my aunt was always saying, look, you got a grandbaby. Eventually y'all gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to start getting along because you working on another generation. It's gonna be birthday parties, ball games, this, you know, y'all gonna have to learn to get together. So we went to court a couple weeks back. We were able to go to court together and go stand in front of a judge together and be like, look, we doing what I was arguing. This is what we come up with. It works for both of us. And it was like, I walked out of that courtroom after like straight up more than 10 years of arguing with this man. Like feeling like I had to defend myself every day of my life. Because I don't know if you got kids, but custody stuff, that gets nasty. Nasty.
You don't know what I do you?
No.
I used to work with CPS. And
so you know.
And I'm a family and civil mediator.
Yeah. So
everything you said. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I applaud because of the maturity. I'm getting goosebumps hearing someone that actually you get it.
Yeah.
You get it. And
it took that grandbaby getting here and me having to break it down like that and be like, this is a whole other life and she's defenseless. She is innocent.
Oh, you about to make me pause the video because I'm like, kid, because I be trying to tell folks, like, even though I work with kids in my career and things, but I care about the parents too, the caregivers, the
Right.
and this is like everything you said is exactly what I be trying to get them to understand.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you making it harder on yourself. You know, you're
Right.
not even making it harder on yourself. You're making it harder on this baby. Okay.
Right.
Because when you in that system,
Right.
okay, you can't act right. We'll take care of it then.
Right. Right.
And
So
that's why I
smart.
do my whole CPS series on TikTok. Like, ooh, yeah, we got to talk.
I see. I had no idea. You know what? This might be a.
I know. That's why I be trying to say. I already know. That's why I was like, I need to talk to her. I need to have her on the show. Like, because once again, I've had videos fly off and go off, you know, but just I felt what she was coming. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
But wisdom, and that's when you were talking about your grandfather and why people admire the things you're sharing, what things he shared with you, because it's wisdom.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't have a grandfather, someone with wisdom in their life to share that with them. So when people when they get it, it's like, once again, you know what? We ain't talking about me. We talking about Pow.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank y'all for joining us. Once again, this is the Makings of Pow with Everything Culture. Y'all make sure to tune in, check us out. Much love. Enjoy the ride. Share it. As we continue to our next question, Pow, what is your theme song? When you step out for the day, what song represents you?
Oh God, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Because sometimes I get in that little Cadillac and I don't listen to nothing all the way to work. Because I'm like, oh, I gotta go back to this place. And then sometimes I'm in there, I'm like, I feel good today. Like, you know. So listen, it's just different every day. Every day is different.
If you had a sitcom, so it'll be a customized song every time. If you had a sitcom on your life, what would it be?
I think it would probably have to be like, well, you said you didn't get to watch Shameless, but you know, it was different every time. They have a different person being like, last week on Shameless, you know, yeah, it would be different. It would have to be different. Let me see. What have I been on? Like, I got about 1,000,002 playlists in this phone. Don't make fun of me. I love Rod Wave. I could listen to Rod Wave all the time. And my husband gets mad at me. He's like, why you want to listen to that man crying over the same girl? I said, he's been crying over that same girl for 2 years. I don't care. I'm still listening to
Hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever, you know, what wave you riding it, because it's the Makings of Pow, you know?
Right.
Hey, nobody, I ain't here to judge you. I'm here to support you. You know, be
but
you.
You know, I also listen, he calls it my elevator music. I listen to a lot of classical music. Like, I love Vivaldi. I love Bach. Like, it's a little of everything in this little telephone right here, right?
Hey, you know, be diverse, be inclusive. We love it. So,
our neighbors on this side are Hispanic, and I don't even know what that is that they're listening to, but I'll do the little Google, where you can push the microphone,
try to catch
where to pull it up so I can listen to it too. I don't know what they're talking about, but I'll be in here.
Hey, it's all right in here. It's the feeling of it. Right. Absolutely understand. So, how do you define joy?
How do you define joy? Dang. I feel like I didn't study for this. Joy. Joy is a state of, I don't even think it's a state of mind. I think it's a state of being where you're so overcome with the feeling of being happy that you can't even tune in to the negative things around you. It's not just here, it's here. It's like a physical, you feel happy. You have physical responses to that. So I think joy is bigger than just a feeling. It's like a state of being.
Love it. I'm already saying I'm gonna have to share her at my Makings you, because I love, like, when people have never listened to the show before, and when I ask these questions and they're like, "Oh my, trust me, this is what it is. This is needed. That's what I would say. So, what privileges do you benefit from?
Ooh. Well, here where I am, I think that because I'm a woman, I ain't gonna say all the time. Most of the time, people want to open doors for me. If they see me carrying something heavy, most of the time they want to try to carry it for me. I will say, white privilege is a thing. It has never one time occurred to. I'm bad. I go somewhere, I buy something, unless it's got like something that I might have to return, I'll tell them to throw the receipt away. Just throw it away. I don't need it. Throw it away. It never occurred to me to start keeping my receipts when I walk out of places until I married a black man. Never. It never crossed my mind to start holding on to receipts until I was in and out of businesses and things with my husband, and it's different for him.
Yeah, I had to mute myself a little bit for my onomatopoeia, because once again, this is the Makings of Pow, y'all. It is about that probably gonna be the clip. I'm leaving this in here. That probably gonna be the clip right there, the intro. Because when I tell you, that was one example I use for people this is DEI work right here that I'm doing, diversity, equity, inclusion, cultural diversity training. Because I do that. Like even today, like I was at. Once again, this is just a quick story. I try to stay on it, but man, I have to keep that receipt on me. It's I know I'm trying to stop cursing, and I'm not gonna curse, but this is really freaked up. You can curse,
Yes.
I don't mind.
Yes.
But man, I've been through it too many times. I don't care how much money I make, how I dress, it's like that.
It never occurred to me that I needed to not only like be aware of, but know the wording in like traffic laws until I was riding around with a black man.
Yeah, a little joke on Dave Chappelle say all the time that I agree with. Being black, you kind of got to be a part-time paralegal. You got to know the law. It's like,
yeah,
and still that may not benefit you to the best ability, but
yeah.
But thank you once again. Thank you. Everyone that get that question, but I really appreciate your response and your transparency and understanding as well. So in your life, what areas do you need to heal?
Oh gosh. Okay. So are you sure you want to hear this? Okay. And I'm laughing because I do awkward laughter. I mentioned my children's father. So my second husband, I can't believe I'm fixing to tell you this. My second husband, he we're gonna say that he was a pedophile, and he victimized my children, unbeknownst to me. So that's how they went to live with their dad. There was a safety plan put into effect. I'm sure you're familiar with those. Me thinking that I'm doing the right thing, of course, I signed it because I'm in shock from like this happened in my house on my watch. I am one of the most observant people I know. Like I literally notice everything. So when that came out, and I was like, what? And so immediately, yes, what do I got to sign? They go, I had full custody of my kids, sole legal and physical custody. I signed the safety plan so they could go with their dad. Water under the bridge. I ain't mad about it no more, but he took advantage of that situation, and he played it to his advantage. And then it was a 10-year long thing back and forth. But when I can still look at my kids and I can still see the effects the things that they still are dealing with. I like that trauma it's still on them. Maybe I could be wrong, but I would like to think that my daughter would have never made that severe turn and gotten into some of the things that she's gotten into if that hadn't happened to her. Sometimes she says she blames me for that. Sometimes she says she doesn't. So one of the things that I'm trying to work on healing is not blaming me for what somebody else did, not holding myself responsible for not knowing what I didn't know, because that shit has been really, really heavy over the years. And I think sometimes when I try to address her now, she, you know what I'm saying? Like she can't take me seriously because she sees me as a failure as a parent, even though I'm just trying to help her. So that's what I got to heal. And I'm a lot better about it now, but for the better part of 10 years, like I wouldn't even, if I went to the store and bought a pair of jeans, I felt like I had to justify it. You know, I'm spending this money on it because like literally everything I did was scrutinized and under the magnifying glass. And I had to answer not only to the dad, but his attorneys, DHR, you know, the community that I live in. And because the person that did this was like from a very prominent family, church raised, college educated, like not the type of person that you would ever think would do anything like that. There are still people that are like pointing the finger, oh, she made it up. So there's a lot of stuff that I get up with and go to bed with every day that I'm trying to work on healing. But the thing that I do try to focus on the most to do my healing is to be straight up as a parent and be honest with my daughter. You know, you can't use your trauma because the same thing happened to me when I was a child. But at some point you got to make a decision. Do you use this as a crutch, as an excuse for shitty behavior forever? Or do you take your power back and say, you know what, I'm going to do what I got to do and you don't have that hold on me anymore. So that's the parts of me that I got to heal. That's a lot.
And when I tell you thank you, I sincerely mean that. Like, wow. And usually I'm never a loss for words, but the thing is, like you said earlier, like how people connect. Like I'm doing a whole series about child welfare in the system and how things look coming up. Like as I'm looking for people like you to talk about that cycle and that feeling, that experience, and just coincidentally everything aligns together. And that's why I'm kind of like, thank you. Well, that's why I say thank you for sharing this, because people need to hear this. Your experience, your story, your life, what you're going through is it's nobody can be another pal. Okay, it's only one pal. Let's get that out the way. But a lot of people experience the same thing, almost in that same way. And I'm big on, we got to have these conversations so we can have growth. See what we can do better.
Well, like, you know, I said I wanted to call my aunt when we left court the other day. I felt like I had finally gotten out from under what that person did to my children, to my family, to my mental health, to my spiritual health, to my physical health. Like, that was a 10-year long battle, not just with the father of my children, but with trying to get out from under what he did, get away from that stigma. And like, you know what I'm saying? So that was such a huge thing for me. Like, this is so stupid. It's not stupid. Well, it is. It probably will be to people that do normal stuff like that every day. But like that afternoon, I got to pick up my youngest son from school for the first time ever. Ever. because he went to live with his dad when he was 4 years old. So he started school over there with them. And the dad, we're just going to say he was not as mature as he is now. I'm so grateful for the turning point that he has made, and he's finally starting to get some clarity on things and see that maybe he was wrong in the way that he treated me for something that I didn't do, and just to be in control of things. But like, I picked him up from school and I was telling the stepmother, I said, I've never got to pick him up from school before. Like even something as simple as that, because I dropped him off and I cried all the way home because it was such a big, he's fixing to be 16 and I'm going to have to pick him up, So like, that was such a big deal to me. She said, why are you crying? I said, I've never got to pick my baby boy up from school ever. Like, this is a big, like, stuff that I just wanted to be included for a decade. Just wanted to just do regular parent stuff and didn't get to do it.
Wow. Man.
So when that stuff happened with my daughter, I was fully prepared, because not on that social media outlet, but the one with the blue F. Yeah, she has gotten on there. I just got out of the one with the blue F jail today. So she's gotten on there before. Like, she'll get mad at her dad or me, and she'll just like go in. Yeah, and tell things like, well, this happened to me on my mom's watch, and like, she'll drag me when she's mad at me, but then she'll come and like, I had the baby this weekend. I got to work. Do you want to watch Lily? So I was fully prepared for her to drop that bomb, because I saw people dragging me in the comments too, like, oh, it's her fault and whatever. But yeah, so there you go. There's all my unpacked stuff.
Hey, hold on. Let me grab it and put it here. Let me put it somewhere safe. It's okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. Wow. I'm thankful for you opening up and sharing like you shared,
Bro, suicidal, depression, like, I mean, you're a parent, your kids ain't with you every day. Like, I think you feel like you lose your purpose.
And I needed this. I'm going to tell you this now, because once again, me being a caseworker, and I'm going to share this later on in the future, and because just right here, I'm an empathetic person, I'm an empath, as you can see, I feel, even if I could be mad at you, I still can feel, where you're coming from, and I have to make a certain decision. But I've terminated parental rights. I've terminated a lot of parents' rights. I'm talking about severed that connection, like that. You ain't ever see your kids again in your day of your life, as long as they're children. And I've seen parents that have tried, and I'm like, hey, you got to do this, and that. And I tell these stories that some parents that I'm like, I see them trying, and I'm trying to get to them. And it's hard where you have an attorney or a judge that just don't want to hear them. I'm like, hey, this kid needs their mother, still that attention. And then when you're talking about even what your daughter was saying, I'm telling you, the stuff that was posted there, I was like, so just, I was folding clothes when I was looking at TikTok. Yeah. And I was like, this sounds like my family right here. I got people, I got people in my family doing the same thing. Like, so we had, and it's good. I'm going to say it's good because, I say it's good because what you said is they need to hear that. Yes. But in the way it's harsh. But the way people communicate, just like with culture, everybody don't speak the same way to everyone else, right. Upbringing. And is it the best way? Perhaps not, but you could try a much softer way and it go one ear and out the other. Exactly. And unfortunately, it's to that point where hopefully, like, if she's ever interested to sit down with me and have a conversation like we're having, I'd love to have it. Because hopefully she can hear this conversation that you're opening up and sharing as well. Because
she's hurt. She's so mad right now.
It's going to take time. But once again, I'm 36, and I'm like, I've seen that cycle. I've seen the kid that were in CPS custody become the parent, and now they're the tables have turned, and they're like, man, I wish I would have paid
That's
attention a little bit more.
like that's literally all I want for her is to be more aware of her behavior and the consequences, potential consequences of her actions.
Yes. Oh, wait. Ugh, emotional. Okay. So we got to go to the next question because we got a few more to go on. But thank you. So, what makes you feel safe or secure?
Consistency.
That's one of the pillars we have here.
Consistency. I don't care what you are, but just be that all the time. Because if I know what you are all the time, I know how to maneuver around it.
Love it. Okay. Once again, our pillars of the podcast: respect, communication, and consistency. Because even if I do need to change, I need to communicate to you about that change. Okay. So when did you realize you were different? Like, what moment in life did you like, okay, I'm different?
I was a kid, like a small kid. Again, my parents divorced when I was very young, and so there was domestic violence stuff that went on, and like my little brother, he used to get under the bunk beds and he wouldn't come out. He would not come out to eat. He would not come out to, like, he was scared. So they'd get to fussing in there. He'd get under the bed. Him and my sister both. And I would have to get under the bed and, like, tell them stories, make up stories. Like, we do shadow puppets, like, you know, anything to get them to calm down. And then when I would go to school and none of the other kids around me ever even talked about stuff like that. I remember the first time I went and spent the night with somebody, the dad was already seated at the dinner table, and I think the mom was on her way there, and the dad was like, you forgot to put the barbecue sauce on something, some little small menial thing, and the mom was like, well, get up and do it yourself. And I'm sitting there fully prepared for like a fist fight to break out, and nothing happened. And I asked the girl when we went to her room to go to bed that night, I was like, your parents don't fight? She's like, what are you talking about? I said, oh my God. Like, yeah. And I just knew that there was a lot of things that went on in my life, and the way that I, like you mentioned, being an empath, is like I can literally feel the emotions of the people around me, and it keeps me up at night. Like, my brain is constantly moving and trying to make sure that everybody's okay. And I don't think that's not normal for little kids. You know, little kids are supposed to be worried about stuff like cartoons on Saturday morning and what they want for Christmas, not how am I going to get my brother to go to sleep tonight. You know.
No, whew. Thank you. I'm just gonna say thank you for right now. So, once again, if you're just now tuning in, this is the Makings of Pow with Everything Culture. Once again, make sure to check us out. If you can hear our voices, if you want to see us, go to YouTube with Everything Culture. And, you know, we'll share some snippets here and there on the socials. But once again, thank you, Pow, for being with us. So, what traditions do your culture hold when it comes to someone passing? Like, what's the process?
Shoot, they do everybody bring food to the house, and then, you know, they have I think some people call it a visitation, where you go to the funeral home and you view the body the night before or whatever, and then the funeral is the following day. Sometimes it's on the same day, but like, I think the visitation is more for like everybody, and then the funeral is kind of like just the close folks or whatever, and somebody say some words, and then the pastor do their thing and sing some songs, listen to some music, and then you go to the cemetery and put them in the ground. I don't particularly care for the process myself. I don't like it. Like, I had thyroid cancer in 2015, and it was pretty bad. Like, I had 3 surgeries, and I don't think the dude was telling me like, hey girl, you about to kick the bucket. I think he was telling me, you know, we on surgery number 3, ma'am, and you need to make sure your affairs are in order just in case. So I had to have these conversations. Like I had to make my brother my executor of my will and be like, okay, so in the event, this and this and this is what we're going to do. And I told him, I said, I want you to put me in a bio urn. He said, what is that?
Like that's the one you could plant, right?
Yes.
I heard of
why
that.
do you want to be a tree? You going in the family plot with the rest of us. I was like, you put me in there, I am not going nowhere. I'm going to stay right there and torment you. I'm going to unscrew the light bulbs. I'm going to like wet down the toilet paper. Like I'm going to annoy the fuck out of you until you do what I told you to do. But yeah, I don't particularly care for that sad process because the way I see it, I mean, I know some people, they do go too soon and it's tragic. But I guess me in particular, I feel like I made it this far. Let's celebrate because I really should have been gone a long time ago. Like I need y'all to act like I want a trophy or something.
Oh, I gotta send you some episodes. I'll give it to you. My goodness. Let's see. What are you responsible for?
Mainly myself. And that's a lot. I'm responsible for these kids. I do have a job where I have a lot of responsibilities. I'm gonna say, without trying to make him sound bad, I am responsible for my husband because we are very he works so much. He's just work. He don't know how to do the simple stuff like washing machine or so I do have some responsibilities there. Got the little grandbaby, and I try. My grandmother, she has dementia now, so she is not at peak performance like she have been all these years. So I'm trying to prepare myself for my role as matriarch, because I'm the one that everybody calls. If something goes wrong, they gonna call me and they want me to come and, so I'm trying to get ready to step in them shoes, and they just big shoes. So yeah.
Especially at 37, 30, right. 38, 37.
Right. 38 in February.
Yeah. That's a lot. Matriarch? Yeah. Is nobody else? Okay, this is the makings of Pow. There's
other people, I think they just don't want the job, so.
Yeah, I understand. I absolutely understand.
Okay. I might not necessarily want the job either, but it has to be done.
But with the ones that do the job, you know what? Once again, I played God of War. It was like, when you step into a leadership position, you have to understand leaders are going to make mistakes.
Yes.
But a good leader are the ones that take responsibility and own up to the mistakes that they make.
Period.
But okay. So you have a biopic coming out. Who will play you in your biopic? Who would direct it? And would it be in the theater or what network would it be on?
I want Tyler Perry to direct it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I could pick anybody to be me?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's when the judgment. You're the second person to say Tyler Perry. I'm like, Perry. Okay, but hey, I respect it.
Real life stuff.
It's gonna be drama. It's gonna be a lot of drama. Okay, that's what you're telling me. I think
he bring the real to the. I don't care if it's in the theaters or not. A lot of people tell me that I remind them of, is it Kat Dennings, the girl from Two Broke Girls? A lot of people say I'm like the dry humor that I remind them of her.
Yes. Okay, I know who you're talking about now. Yes. It took me a minute to think. Like,
she's pretty. I think
When you said Two Broke Girls, that's when it came to me. That's when it came. Okay. What network?
All of them. Let's make some money.
Okay. I feel you. Syndicate this job. All right, put me out there. Love it. Okay. If you were rich, if you was wealthy, money didn't matter. Whatever you could do, but you had to do something. You had to have a career. What would your career be? But you got the money, but you had to have one job. What would be your job you would love to do?
I want to go around with a big fancy camera and take pictures of animals because it makes me happy.
All right.
Yeah, like be out there on Yellowstone with a lens this long, taking a picture of it's not a buffalo, they're extinct, a bison. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. A photographer. All right.
Yeah. They say that white women is like not afraid of anything and they the dumbest that walks towards the danger instead of away from it. I'll be out there on the Serengeti trying to be like, hey bro, stand still for a minute, trying to talk to a lion or something.
Hey, that is another difference. Let me tell you, I'll be right there way in the back just I hope everything goes well. Like,
you can narrate it.
I would absolutely narrate it. Like it may be a very unorthodox narration, but it's gonna be like it's been crazy. She walking up to this thing like it ain't gonna do nothing. Let's see if she makes it. But okay, I'm absolutely with that. I'm with that. Okay.
She lost 4 toes last week. Let's see if they get the other one.
But she back out there with that heart.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to hear your response to this question here. And this is more of like, would you rather? So would you rather go back in time and talk to your younger self, or would you rather your future self come and talk to you now?
I'd rather go back in time. I think that I would go back and I would tell little tiny me that all of that stuff that she was trying to pick up and carry was not hers to carry. And I feel like if I could have learned that lesson then, future me wouldn't need to come back and talk to me because this me would be straight.
Love it. Do you think little you would listen to you?
I actually do, because I think that was probably one of the things that little me needed was just somebody to tell me what was going on instead of me having to figure it out for myself.
Wow. Thank you. So, Pow, how do you relax?
I just heard my husband's voice in my head. Are you taking another damn bath? Spend a lot of time in the bathtub because it's the only room in the house that I can be by myself. So I just go in there and just be chilling out in the bathtub, reading books and stuff. That and I play softball. Like I probably should not still be playing ball, but I do. I play like a hell of a lot of softball. And I just zone out when I'm doing that. And it's just, that's my one thing I do for me.
What's your preferred position?
Ooh, I wish I was still fast enough to play second base, but I can't cover the gap. But I'll be over there on first base. Look, don't tell my coach, Coach Frank, if you're watching, don't listen to this. I actually like to play hind catcher now at my age because I like to sit back there and run my mouth at everybody.
You about it. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting back into another league, but I'm like, I ended up messing up my leg a few weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting to this age. I got to stop doing the things I'm doing. I ended up sliding into.
And my mama fusses at me. It's time for you to sit down, and I'm like, Mama, I just broke my ankle on Memorial Day, and just got back out there, right? And my doctor told me, he was like, if you ever stop, you're gonna have to sit down because the arthritis and stuff is gonna start affecting you. He says, so stay active as long as you can. So that was my excuse. I can't do it, Mama. I got to get back out there.
That's all we need to hear. Okay. Thank you. What is a quote that you live by?
Don't say what you ain't gonna do. Olney Brown. That was my great granddaddy. And he passed, I was probably 13 or 14. I remember hearing him say that as young as 4 and 5 years old. And I never really understood what it meant until I was a smart-assy teenager talking about, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. And sure as shit, I was out there doing all of it. All of it. Don't ever say what you ain't gonna do because you have no idea where you might find yourself just that fast.
Wow, love it, love it. Okay, you rolling right through. We got a few more questions, then we're gonna be it. Okay.
Okay.
How you feeling?
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you again. Sir, for
You're
real.
welcome. Thank you. I feel important. I've never been on a podcast before.
Well, welcome to Everything Culture. We appreciate it.
Hello.
Yes. This is my favorite question. So, your last meal, what would it be, and who would prepare it for you?
Oh man. My grandma gonna have to fix it. And it would be homemade biscuits with red-eye gravy, country ham, fried eggs, and a couple slices of tomato. Because nobody makes biscuits like my grandma. Oh my God, my grandma makes the prettiest cat head biscuits. The Hardee's ain't got shit on Linda Ann.
Okay. So I never heard of red-eye gravy before. What is red-eye gravy?
They take the either the ham or the bacon grease, whichever, preferably country ham. If you fry the country ham or whatever, they take the grease from that and they put some coffee grounds in it and sugar. Yeah. Google it and make you some, cause
okay. I've learned something the other day. I be thinking I know everything country, but I'm like, okay, red eye gravy.
Well, that's why they call it red eye, because it's got the coffee in it for when you. Yeah.
Do you know how to make it?
Yeah, but I can't make it as good as my grandma. Well, maybe it's a mental thing. It might very well be as good as hers, but you know.
So you may need to start. I mean, we will talk off air. We gotta let people know your secrets and things. We gonna let them know about red eye gravy, but you got to put some planning together. I've never heard of that before. And you said, what was it? Cat biscuits. What it's called?
Well, they call them cat head biscuits because they're big round biscuits. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm the same way. My wife learned how to make my grandmother's biscuit, her recipe. It's only like 3 people in my family know how to make my grandmother's biscuits. And I'm so grateful my wife know how to make them because they like, and the thing is, she be spreading them around in the family, like putting other people on. I'm like, hey, you better know where you get that from. You don't be telling nobody, but everybody, my God, these biscuits so good. I'm like, yeah, them Johnsons right there. Okay. But
hey!
I digress. Okay, thank you. All right, so our last 3 questions. How would you want people to remember you?
As somebody that was just real, not fake or false pretenses, somebody that was a genuinely kind person and tried to do the right thing consistently, because I feel like in the world that we live in, it's so much easier to be a shit person. It's hard to be a good person today.
Ooh, what are you telling?
It's hard.
But it's always harder building than tearing down, ain't it?
Yes.
Thank you. What are you doing differently than your parents?
So my parents, I tell my kids this all the time, like, they be getting mad at me. They say I lecture them. My parents, even before they divorced, they didn't really like talk to me. My dad was what do they call look, I don't know what the technical term is, but he whooped my ass, like he was a spanker, and my mom was punishment too, but not like, I think my mom liked to pass the buck on my dad because she didn't like to do it, but my daddy, he whooped the shit out of us. And I think that really stayed with me because I was like, how am I supposed to know what the problem is if nobody tells me? And there are some things, like I've even told my kids before, I've said it myself, do as I say, not as I do. But I feel like that makes a difference in a child's thought process if they know why it's a problem. Now, with it, that granted, there are exceptions. You can't break down everything for a child. But I feel like some things you could just take a few extra minutes and explain it to the kid. Well, you know, you don't need to get on social media and tell everybody this, and this, because then people are going to know this, and this, and that makes you subject to
this, and this. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So that's definitely something that I've tried to do different with my kids, is explain to them the whys so that they have all the necessary information to make an educated decision, not just have to go on what I'm telling them, because I'm not always going to be here. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to know this stuff for yourself so that you can make your decisions. I really do try to talk to them, whereas my parents didn't.
Wow. Thank you. And last question. What changes do you want to see in your culture?
I wish that more people that look like me did not see themselves as superior to people that don't, because we're not. And I don't care what your granddaddy have been telling y'all for 15 generations. It's not true. It's not true. And the sooner that we all realize we're on this spinning rock together, like, the better off we'll be, because I feel like if there's an end of days coming, we all gonna have to rely on each other to get through it. And I would hate to know that somebody felt like, you know, I mentioned my Hispanic neighbors. I would hate to know that they felt like they couldn't come over here and ask me for something because my skin is white. If I got it, I'm gonna help you, and I want you to help me. I don't want them to not come to the door. If I go over there and knock on the door and be like, hey, man, I know y'all over here cooking because I can smell it. Can I get a plate? You know?
Yeah.
I just think that some of that stuff's got to go, or we all going to be in a sad shape in the days to come.
Well, that's deep, and that's appreciated, your perspective. And you know what? Pow, you have made it. You've done it. You have completed the makings of you with everything.
Okay.
You went through the guy and you've done it. Hey, I've enjoyed myself. How are you feeling?
This has definitely been a nice experience. I've never had this type of conversation with somebody I don't know before. So,
again, and I hope it was comfortable. You know, I hope you were fine. And but this is what we do. You know, I ask every person that usually come on the show. This is the first step before you come on future episodes. So when people are listening to you on the episode and you're sharing your perspective on the topic, and they be like, "Who the hell is this talking?" They always go listen to Pow and her upbringing. They're like, okay, they can relate to you, or they may not. But that's why it's necessary. You know, you see so many different podcasts out here giving their perspectives and opinions, and I'm always like, who the hell is this person giving
with no
advice?
context?
Yeah, I'm like, who is this person? Gotcha. Why do I need to listen to this person in the first place? Do I relate to anything with that upbringing like mine? So I absolutely value getting to know people like we're doing right here. Once again, you can get to know me. I have a Makings of Mr. D713, or that's my previous moniker. But I share with people because I have to expect people to be, when people are transparent with me, I got to be transparent with them. That's that respect.
I was going to check you out, but then I was like, no, let me not do that because I want it to be genuine.
Hey, and True, you have been genuine. Let me tell you that. I absolutely say that. And seriously, I have so many discussions that I ain't trying to wear you out, but it's just like, seriously, the conversations and the wisdom that you have, even though, and you have you have lived experience. And that's why I say, you can have book smarts, you can go to college for something, but if you experience something firsthand, who else can tell you about that experience other than people that's going through it? So thank you, seriously. But at this time, we got to ask, if the people are looking for you and you are trying to be found, where can the people find you?
Oh my God. Obviously on TikTok. You can share my email if you want. Listen, I'm an Aquarius and I'm sometimey with my communication. Sometimes it gets overwhelming. So yeah, but Facebook is, I got a really long name on there.
If once again, if you trying to be found, that's what I'm saying.
Do the TikTok.
I'm gonna let you TikTok up here. I got you.
Yeah, my Instagram's on there too. It's on my TikTok, so that works.
See, A1. Because trust me, I had to hit up a few times. Like I took the thing is, y'all, for the people who don't know, like I took a break from TikTok for like a week because TikTok was like trying to ban all my videos every time I looked up.
Me for the people who know,
I'm like, dog, I don't want to be doing nothing, man. Like
I got us both in trouble. I'm so sorry.
No. I think I got you in trouble. Because I'm telling you, the day I stitched that video, I went on a week break. And if you look at my page, I said exactly like, hey, I'm taking a break because they keep muting or taking down my videos.
Yeah.
And I think me stitching your video, I think they were coming for me and got you. That's what I...
Baby, it's a Facebook reel now, and I got put in Facebook jail over it.
Oh my goodness. But when I say people are hitting my page up, talking about looking, that's why I make sure to pin you at the top. God, like, hey, if they're looking for you, here she go right here. You know, and like it's been people with 2 million followers, you know, stitch this. And I'm like, but even though people stitching, and even when you say, you know, what's it called? It just could be the T. Cause usually I don't put content like that, but what you were saying was absolutely like, it was real what you were saying. Yeah. You know, because I have, hey, y'all know what I'm talking about. I have cousins and family members that be doing stuff like that, and I be like, hey, y'all, it's all fun until the rabbit got the gun. But all being said, I look forward to having you back on the show. Okay. Thank you for what you're doing. As I say, the question I asked, I hope the grandbaby's doing well. Because when you were saying, even doing that, I was like, when you brought up the grandbaby, that's the first thing on my head went. Like, we get a baby involved. That's what I'm focused on right now because that's part of me. Yes. But seriously, I really do appreciate your time. If you have any questions, anything you want to follow up with, please feel free to reach out to me. But hey, y'all, this has been the Makings of Pow with Everythang Culture. I want to say thank you all so much for your support. We look forward to having y'all back in the future. Look forward to our CPS stories as well as our CPS series. We have episodes coming up very soon that I do not want y'all to miss out on. But I want to say I appreciate you all and God bless. Peace.
What's happening, good people? It's your host, Drake, the Mr. D713 with Everythang Culture. Just letting you know, thank you. Thank you for listening to another episode of The Makings of You. We greatly appreciate your support. We look forward to more support in season 4. Make sure you check out www.everythangculture.com for our new merchandise, as well as check out all of our social media sites from Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and IG. We're all over. We greatly appreciate your support, and we'll look forward to seeing y'all in the next episode.